Yeah.
Because I quit last month. Now it's been a month, and I'm now in clubs sitting in the VIP section with my body, and he's right next to me. And I'm like, how do I move from where I am now into his studio and to make hits with him, you know?
Introducing the epitome of luxury living. Kalu Luxury Villas and Suites, your private sanctuary of opulence and elegance. Nestled amongst the lush, sun-kissed landscapes of Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, this Kalu Luxury Villa is a paradise of tranquility, offering breathtaking panoramic views of the neighborhood. Step into a world of refined luxury where every detail has been meticulously crafted to create an atmosphere of sophistication and comfort. This villa is kept within a gated and secure property for your peace of mind. The Kalu Villa is available for both short-term and long-term stays, making it the ideal location for your next vacation or special event. This villa boasts spacious living areas and floor-to-ceiling windows that flood the interior with natural light, making you feel at one with the surrounding beauty, paired with multiple terraces, an outdoor lounge, and a dining area. Live the dream, make memories, and indulge in the life you deserve. Contact us today to book your stay or to learn more about this exquisite property. Your oasis of opulence awaits.
Bro, thank you for making it.
Man, sorry for being a little late.
No, you wasn't even late, man. You wasn't
Was
even
that
late.
okay?
It's like normal production delays. Nah, it wasn't hectic. We've had it worse. Some people are weird about how they respect certain platforms, you know.
Yeah.
So thank you for honoring the invite. Firstly,
It's a pleasure.
it's a privilege to have a person who is building your brand so consistently and with so much I'd say intention. You're building your brand with intention.
That's the
You
goal.
weren't just thrown into this industry and you're like, what do I do next?
But technically, I was thrown in this industry. I just knew what I wanted to do.
Right. I had a few months ago, I had Yoli. She was also on, I think, Big Brother Mzansi. And I asked her do you think you're ever prepared for the level of fame you get after you walk out of those doors when you're an evicted housemate? Did you think the day you walked out, you knew exactly what you're stepping back into?
Me.
Yeah.
So it's a bit different with me.
Yeah.
In KZN,
Yeah.
specifically the Terminals, Workshop, Bat Center, I was pretty popular.
Okay.
Pretty. So much so to a point where I couldn't walk down a mall, you know, where you walk in a mall area.
Yeah.
Without being stopped at least minimum 10 times by like people in the hip hop industry, other kids. So I feel like my life has prepared me. My choices in life have prepared me. You know, I know what it feels like to stop for a random person for a photo.
Yeah.
I know what it feels like to have it get to your head at a very young age without it being detrimental, you know, to fall for the hype. But luckily I have an upbringing and family that's kind of like steered me towards being true to myself and my path. My father used to always say, and he still says, ungakhohlwa ukuthi uqhamuka.
Sure.
Yeah, I might even get that tattooed on me. You know, always know imvelaphi yakho.
To remind yourself, ukuthi, no man, ngiqhamuka la. And where I come from, we are rooted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ubuntu.
Sinobuntu. We
Yeah.
stand for things that matter. We are principled.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So I guess that level of KZN Durban fame almost prepared you to go national. And Big Brother was just the breakthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely, you worded it perfectly.
Yeah.
Breakthrough is the right word.
Yeah.
Because even there, when I was here, when I first got here initially, I was like not known by anyone, except for those people who were in Durban.
Yeah.
But now they had come up here way earlier than I had. So they were somebodies.
Yes.
And
yes.
I'm now at the bottom of the food chain.
Yeah.
Like kind of hustling. But when I landed, you know, commercials and then momentum started building, after a while I noticed that it's starting to happen again.
Yeah.
So I took a deep breath. Like, okay, I'm going to be patient with this. When it gets there, it's going to get there. But I won't let it get to my head again, like how I didn't when I was back in Durban.
Was Big Brother part of the strategy for a breakthrough?
No. Music has always been the tool that I thought I would use. Honestly, music, that's what I thought I would do.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm still currently doing. I love music, you know. But Big Brother was a suggestion.
Okay.
So there was a time when I was about to quit my corporate job. I was working at a bank.
Banker, you?
I'm a bank, and that's what I got. Every client that walked in when I was still in a branch would say stuff like, "You have tattoos and muscles, cool hairstyle. What are you doing here? I don't trust you with my money." You know? But I can't not be myself no matter what I am. I'm gonna be myself, you know. And eventually, as time went, I realized that I have to leave this. But before I leave this, let me start preparing my music. Started like piling up just music, dropping freestyles on YouTube, reaching out to people. Most people, you know, if they don't know you, you're just a face.
Absolutely,
It's just another...
It's just another number. Another person who's begging for an opportunity.
It's just another nigga, basically, you know, to put it in K-Dot's words. That's all you are until you get that breakthrough. And it was a suggestion from my best friend, Benson Kun. Shout out, my boy. Shout out. He said, "Yo, my family is obsessed with the show. Why don't you try audition?" I had forgotten that I auditioned a long time ago.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't the first audition.
It wasn't my first.
Okay.
The second season. Second season of Mzansi. Big Brother Mzansi. I had auditioned, and a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, Jace the Face, he went onto the show, and he didn't win, but he did really well. And I saw hype and fame get
and what it does.
You know, and I was like, oh damn, you know, I wish I would have also gotten that chance. It's cool. I forgot all about it. I even forgot that I'd done it. So when I auditioned this time around, it was more intentional. It was more, I've quit my job. I'm going for what I believe in. I'm going to all these events, meeting all these big names.
So you quit already, bro?
I quit my...
Sorry to cut you there. You quit in preparation for your next season already?
Yeah. So what had happened was, it was hurting me.
Okay.
Being stuck.
I hear you.
Because I have no kids. There was no other responsibility besides me.
You were dying a slow death because you're not living your passion.
Yeah, I could feel it. I was like, there's more to me than this.
Sure.
There's so much more. And when I look around, everyone around me in Nedbank
looks content.
No, they're not.
Really?
They're miserable. Okay. Trust me. Because nobody grows to want to work a corporate, as far as I know. You know, some people do, but the people I know don't. So these people are stuck there because of their marital situation or their responsibilities, their children, their legacy, you know. So I have to pay the bills, therefore I'm stuck here. But when I looked at me at that time, I was like, I don't have to be here, you know. But I kept on going up the corporate ladder. It literally started as a promoter at a bank, moved up to working at the branch, getting promoted to teaching people at different branches, and then head office. So I did well in terms of that. I was just going the wrong way. I was going far, but I was going the wrong way. So at some point I had to pump the brakes and say, in fact, before I pumped the brakes, I'm a spiritual being. So I stopped and prayed for a good, was it 7 days or 3 days? I'm not too sure. I don't remember the number. I prayed and I fasted for those days. And I was like, I'm about to do this. I just want you to be with me, you know? Like the same way I'm winning here, I want to win there though. So after that time, I handed in my resignation. My boss couldn't believe it. It was a peak of COVID. She was like, well, look, if it doesn't work out with the music and
please come back.
You can come back. You're doing well here. So the doors will always be open. We had a crazy goodbye party for me. It felt like it was like family.
Sure.
You know, I'm a research analyst, or was a research analyst.
Sure.
I call it in my other life. In my other life, that's what I was, you know. And breaking from that was painful. But luckily, I was able to meet people like Sizwe Alakan, that's Reason, who listened to my music and said, "Well, this is good. This is amazing. Let me jump on this. Let me do a feature." You know, shout out to Sizwe. Really, that meant a lot to me to have somebody who's known like that.
It was a cosign. It was a cosign.
And beyond that, I didn't even pay.
Sure.
He just said, "I like the song. I want to be on it. You coming up. Just keep at it." You know, he believed in it, you know, more than anything. So much so to a point where even if he wasn't a musician, I feel like he would have said something similar. He would have invested something, you know. And those people are gems. Those people are few. They're not that plenty. So from there, me going with him, I was driving him. I bought a car when I was working at the bank, and it was like a standard Uber car, and I thought I was going to Uber everyone. If I quit my job here, I'm going to start Ubering people. I ended up just being his driver and going to these huge events, meeting these big names, or Kabza, or big artists.
You met your destiny without knowing it.
Oh, I did know it. It was very intentional, but it was surprising to me how quick it was happening.
Yeah.
Because I quit last month. Now it's been a month, and I'm now in clubs sitting in the VIP section with Mapori, and he's right next to me. And I'm like, how do I move from where I am now into his studio and to make hits with him, you know? But it didn't happen.
But remember how specific you were in your prayer. You fasted, you asked God, God, I need this to happen at the same trajectory of greatness and success that my job was happening in, right?
Yeah.
But the only problem that with that job, I was walking very far in someone else's shoes. These are not my shoes.
It's not mine. Somebody else.
But now that I'm in my shoes, I need you to be present again.
With me. Yeah. Without being too Christian about it. About it. But that's exactly what has been happening ever since. Sorry, my phone is vibrating. I'm gonna put my bag on the floor here. So that's what's been happening, you know, and it felt like surreal sitting with Ukwesta, watching him record a whole song, and I'm sitting there with my phone, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch this later, and I'm gonna manifest. I'm gonna be in the studio session with him making a hit song at some point. You know, it hasn't happened yet. But what has happened has been far greater and beyond my expectations, because I've always known how to act. I've always gone for auditions. I mean, I landed a Suzuki advert, which went intergalactical. I'm not going to lie. It played for 3 years. It played in between the times when we'd have, what is this thing when the president would call up family meetings. So he'd be and then it would be an advert afterwards, and it would be my adverts, and my people would call me like, oh, we see you on TV,
we can see you,
you know, that type of thing, and it gets renewed so that's like a nice check coming in every now and then, you know. But my thing has always been music. I need people to hear me, you know. I have vibrations that I need to float through me, and I wanted to resonate with somebody and change somebody's life in a big way, you know. And then finally, fast forward, my friends were listening to my music, and they were like, this is good, why isn't it big? And I was like, I don't know, man, it's gonna get big at some point, you know. And now I'm like eating my saving money from you know, working at the bank, you know. So eating my saving money, surviving with that, and I'm like, I'm looking at the last crumbs, and I'm like ish. And the family members are nudging me like, just don't you want to go back to work? I'm like, I can't go back. This is a test. I'm not gonna quit. It was difficult. It's to a point where the crumbs got finished. The crumbs were done. You know. Now it's a matter of borrowing from the same friends that believe in me. Like, yo, bro, I'm gonna get you back, and I don't know how I'm gonna get you back, but I will get you back.
Do you still have the car then?
I still have the car.
And you're still doing the driving of Sizwe?
No.
Okay.
At this point.
No, I'm saying then at that point, time, yes. At that time, when the crumbs finished.
Yeah, so initially when I was a promoter, I was a biker. So I could only afford a scooter bike. And that's what I was. I currently own 2 bikes. And that's my journey. Now, and then the first time I have a car now. And it's like a big flex for me, because it's not a matter of what car it is, but it's a matter of, you have a car, I can go where I want, when I want. If there's an audition, I can show up fresh, you know, type of thing. So yes, I'm driving Sizwe Alakan at that time, late nights, no responsibility. I mean, the latest I ever got home was 10 a.m. I've been up the whole time, man.
Just driving and gig from gig to gig.
And you know, you see things. You see the girls there. You see the temptation, the alcohol. You see the drugs. You see everything. You choose to dabble or not. So I took it as God is preparing me for what's about to happen.
For the big time.
Yeah, I wasn't getting paid for what I'm doing. I'm just doing it because I'm doing it. You know, what else would I be doing if I'm not doing this? So my day looked like wake up in the morning, pray, gym, meditate, prepare for whatever Caesar wants to do. You know, literally,
it's crazy,
like,
bro.
Let's go. Let's go.
That's crazy, bro. You were serving without really noticing that. You thought you're serving him, but you're serving your future. As you say, you're intentional. You were intentional about it.
Basically, bro. You know, and that did a lot for my mind. My mind shift. And the people that I would refer to my stuff would say stuff like, just do more things. You know, I remember there was an interview with this girl, and she says, "What's your next plan? We've seen you in your Suzuki advert." Because I met this girl through Sizwe.
Okay.
And she told me she's an interviewer, and she says, "Well, do you make music? I can interview on one of these platforms, Africa." And I said to her, "I don't make plans at this point. At this point, I just go
with the flow.
If I see any opportunity, I'm taking it. If it's towards the path that I'm building." And Big Brother was that.
Did you know what the path was, though? The bigger picture, because right now the path seems much clearer. There's stability in what you're doing. The numbers are making sense. At the time, as you're saying, you just have a car, you're following Sizwe around, you're going auditions everywhere. Are you not feeling like, maybe I'm chasing clouds and being a star rather than trying to be a great musician?
Nah. See, I'm delusional. you need to be delusional if you're gonna be going after your dreams. Because it's only delusion when it's not real. But when it's real, it's like, oh, we didn't see it. We didn't see it.
Yeah.
I was driving around when I first got here and looking at the billboards and saying, that's me. I'd see whoever's in the car with me. Even with Caesar, I'd be like, that's me up there. I'm up to a point where when it actually happened, I was like, yeah, that's been up there. You know, it wasn't me chasing clout. Clout is a tool. It's a part of the process.
I hear you.
Just the same way like the creativity is part of the process. The music for me is part of the process, because beyond the fame and the hype and the TV and, you know, the privilege of being here and things like that, this is all just stepping stones towards my end goal. You know, it's chess game, and I'm patient with it.
So you finally audition for Big Brother. You get the call or the email that you've been selected. What's going through your brain that day? Do you think you realized what's about to happen?
Yeah, I had a good idea.
Yeah.
Not because I watched the show, but because see the thing is, when I got the call, they were saying, you're not chosen yet. We just need to do a few more steps, you know. So I didn't feel like I was going to get it until I walked into the house.
I hear you.
The whole time I was like, I could still not get it because anything could happen. We're sitting there in the place that they secluded us from everything and for a certain amount of time, no internet, no phone. I don't really know why they did that. But in my mind, I'm like, this is a step towards now showcasing the discipline that I've worked on, the meditation, the manifesting what I believe is going to happen, you know, the delusion that I was talking about, you know, and I'm still living very much in that. A huge part of me is like, I feel like I'm at the level of your Black Coffee or Trevor Noah, Tuso, because I have access to these people, you know. So for me, it's like, these are a director put it so perfectly. He said to me, as an actor, your office is the screen. And if your office is a screen, that means you're competing with your co-workers, like everybody.
It's every single person on screen.
So we're looking at your Denzel. That's your co-worker. You need to look at it like that. You look at him and you say, what can I learn from that? What can I
pitch at that level?
That's what we need more of in South Africa specifically. But what I've found is that like the traditional means of going about things specifically in South Africa is just kind of limiting. It's very limiting. So I commend people like you that decide to be trailblazers and create your own path, because you're speaking so much more to the younger version of you that's also watching it. Like, how can I, you know? I think when I first started, it was 2018. I started recording myself, giving advice to other rappers and saying, I haven't made it yet, but when I do, I want you to come back and watch this video. You see the delusion, you see what I'm talking about? And now I'm looking at it like, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. So if you watch that video on YouTube of me literally speaking to the camera and saying, giving rap advice as if I had already made it, and saying, you need to write your lyrics, you need to know yourself, you need to, you know, all these things, it's paid off, and it's still paying off day in, day out.
You told me that you didn't believe that Big Brother was happening, even in that process where they had secluded you guys, which, by the way, I believe is just playing with your brain a bit, so that when you get into the house, you give your all. You give your all, in that process where you only believed it when you walked in, do you think it came from a place of being traumatized by a lot of rejection before, where you were trying and trying, but it's just not happening?
Partly, yes, but a huge part of me is, if I get a call right now saying, I just got $1 million or a couple millions in my accounts for a job, I'm going to take a deep breath, and I want to sober up as much as possible and be present in the moments. That's just my character. I won't want to get too excited, because I've noticed the pattern of, I'm a student of life. You know, I notice a pattern of, when you're too happy, something comes down to balance you. You know, so I try my best. To keep a level head, you know. So when someone says, oh, you're in Big Brother, I'm like, okay. What am I going to do with this? Am I going to be rapping every day? And I ask those type of questions when I'm going for interviews. Can I rap every day? Can I speak to the cameras? You know, and they say, no, you don't do this. Just be yourself. Just be you. And I'm like, oh, that kind of goes with the theme of what I'm trying to manifest. The whole be you thing, you know? So, and I feel like the following and the people who followed me from there could see what I was manifesting, how I was moving and why I was moving like that.
It absolutely makes sense, because, as you're saying, the BU then fit in. Speaking of the BU, why BU? Was that the rapper name that just evolved into Big Brother?
Somewhat. The rapper name and the public name when I grew up Tegwini was TJ.
Okay.
So a lot of people.
Hey, like my acronyms.
TJ stood for Trust Jesus.
Okay. Oh,
so,
wow.
I'm actually, I'm a pastor. I'm literally.
No ways.
I studied to be a pastor. I kid you not. I studied to be a pastor, and I was about.
So you're into Bible school?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was about radically uplifting the community, specifically the youth. Even in my township, Mlazi, I'd go to these individual young men's places, like their houses, and pray with them and fast with them and speak life unto them, and then we'd crump, we'd dance, and then we'd have a whole clique.
Hey, that's it. We were
about that life, you know. For me, I lived it, I meant it, I did everything I did because I meant it, you know. And then when I came to Joburg, I decided to just like, I can't be Trust Jesus anymore. I feel like I have to put on this show now that makes sense to me, not to the Christian side of me, but to me, to my soul.
Did you feel it would be limiting also commercially?
No, it wasn't because of that. It was evolving. Like you said, it was a matter of evolving. I would have made it as TJ still because of that delusion.
Yeah.
Because my first job was a door-to-door salesman. My first job ever. Yeah. You understand? Door-to-door, I'm coming to your space, knocking on your door. You say no.
The amount of boldness that requires.
Confidence, growth. And I pray that if I do have children, that they're able to do that too and go through and be friends with failure, be friends with rejection. Don't let it stop you from moving. Be friends with falling down. At some point I was a breakdancer. And one thing I first taught me was, learn to be good at falling. You know, that's you fall in a cool way and you get up and dance move. And it's like, they lose their mind. It's like, get used to falling. Don't be scared of it. Because only the people who are winners, I think it was Kobe Bryant who said he's missed more shots than he's made. How many shots has he? He's made millions of shots. So if you see him in the game and he's getting those 3 and he's dunking and he's like, I've missed so many. He's humbled at the fact that he's actually dropping 60 in a game. He's got like so many trophies to his name. You get what I'm saying? So he's humbled by the fact that he's missed so much more.
I hear you.
So same way with me, I've gotten so many more rejections. This to me is just like, if more of the rejections were yeses, trust me, I'd be Hollywood right now. But I'm okay with the fact that maybe I'm meant to create my own Hollywood.
Is it the Oscars or the Grammys that Trevor Noah is hosting? But I think he's hosting them for the 3rd or 4th time. That's one of the biggest stages in the world as a host. But there are many people who don't know how many auditions Trevor Noah failed in. And because people are not friendly with the word failure, they don't want to accept that success is failure.
That's exactly it.
That's all it is.
It's part of the journey. Before a child learns how to walk, they have to fall a couple times. You can't baby them through everything. They have to fall. They have to consistently fall until they're not scared of falling anymore. And that's the first part. You're already halfway there when you're not scared of falling. And then now you just got to be consistent. And I find that consistency comes, for me, consistency is the vehicle. Delusion is the fuel to it. And maybe delusion is the wrong word, but it's that persistent, that drive, that nothing else matters, that focus, that tunnel vision focus of nothing else is going to distract me. Because
do you know what I think delusion is? And I've seen it in my own life in certain areas where I've done well, is that your spirit as a human is something that's personal to you. It tells you your future, only you. And it's for you to listen and take actions that are in line with that word that is within you only. And it's perceived as delusion, as you're saying. Only until you're successful, people are like, wow, you're so amazing. You're like, guys, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been saying this.
And it's so easy to be petty. And I think I watched an interview a while back with Tupac where he was talking and he was mad at the interviewer because he had come so many times and knocked on that door and they said no. Now he's popping off. Now he's like, man, screw this guy. I'm here, but like, I don't like you. You know? So a huge part of what I've learned through analyzing and learning and watching the greats, that have done it in entertainment, i.e. your Michael Jacksons, your Tupacs, all those people that I've watched, I'm seeing that the rejection is a part of the journey. But beyond that, don't be petty. Vibrate at that level of gratitude. Even when the door gets shut and slammed on your face. Thank you, that didn't waste my time. That was a straight no. Thank you.
Right?
That said no.
Then making me linger on thinking it's going to happen. And
So man, it's just such a beautiful thing. And I want to say also, to the youth and the younger people watching this, it's like not everybody needs to follow the trends and be and be a BU.
Yeah.
You know? So, like you said, engineering, right? That's a beautiful thing. We need more versatility and diverse. My legacy is I don't want to make more rappers. I don't want to make more actors. I don't want people sitting there to be like, yeah, I can rap too. I want people to follow their hearts and their soul and their journey. You know? So if you're meant to be a teacher, be the best teacher.
Be the best to ever be. Yeah.
Be that, be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
That's my mantra.
Yeah. The transition into acting, I want to get into that a bit as well, because as I said, you're multi-talented and you seem to be doing so well in all these different spheres.
Thank you.
The transition into acting, was it once again an intentional decision or it just found you?
No, I studied acting. So back in high school, I did acting. After high school, I did acting. I always knew it was going to be a tool. So I was the child that never, although I grew up there, I wasn't living there. I was there. You know what I mean? Like my mother was very protective. So I wasn't one of those kids that were running and playing on the streets. It was school, home, school, home. If friends want to come over, they come over, but for a limited time. You know, it's almost like I like that she did that, but she was also under her own delusion of like, let me just protect this kid as much as possible. And she did a great job. I feel I could have turned out anyway, but the way I turned out, I gave a huge props to my parents for raising me the way they did. You know, I had posters on my room of actors and musicians. It was a perfect balance. So right in the center of my bed, on the wall behind me, there'll be The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, there'll be Will Smith, all these great actors and their movies and what's coming next. Your Johnny Depps, all of that. And the other side, it would just be Tupac, it would be Eminem, 50 Cent, all those rappers. And I believe that those two worlds were how my mind was, how my internal was, you know. Till this day, I'm still very cognizant of that. I manifest still till this. Before I even came here, I hit up a very beautiful, was it 25 minutes? Wow. It was supposed to be 10 minutes, but it ended up being 25 minutes of a meditation. And in there, I'm just like being present, calling myself to myself in this moment and just saying, whatever happens, I will adapt. You know, I'm okay with who I am right now. I'm okay with all sides of me, future, past, and present. Yeah. Making that peace is very important. It's a daily ritual.
It's a daily decision.
Yeah, for me, it's a daily ritual.
Yeah.
I call it a ritual, not a ritual, because rich you are. You get it?
Yeah.
Wordplay. Yeah.
Into the acting, you audition, but the big break, I'd say, is the Showmax show, which is adulting.
Yeah.
That has probably made you solidify as being known as an actor. People see you as that too. I just didn't want to use those words.
Yeah.
But how does that particular role find you? Was it does somebody call you to audition?
I like this. I like this question that you're asking me because I think this is the most truthful answer I'm going to give. I've been asked this question in different ways, but the energy is just giving, so I'm going to tell you. I had auditioned for the role already.
Okay.
Right. I did not get it.
Wow.
I auditioned for the role of Bonga.
Okay.
Bonga, the number
lead.
one. Yeah. I got a friend of mine who told me there's this new show coming up, 4 guys. I think you do well as this guy, which is the character that I ended up getting.
Yeah.
I said, no. I want to change the status quo. I can personally more relate to the Bonga character.
Okay.
Not because he's number one on the call sheet, but because, geez, I'd love to manifest that for my life. Because I feel like the more you act something, the more you manifest it into your life as well. You know? And I auditioned self-tape during COVID, so they saw it, they didn't get back to me. My life carried on. That after a while, you build a tough skin, and you just kind of keep going. And lo and behold, I landed more roles elsewhere. And I got close to the directors. Now they putting me in their inner circles. Not knowing who I'm meeting, just being myself and being the person that I believe that I like to be. I believe that I operate as if I am that multi-millionaire already. That's how I operate. You know, whether I am or not is another thing, but I feel it, I see it, I am it. Long story short, I meet the people who are the execs of the show. I don't know that they're execs at all, you know. They speak to me and they just on that decide on their own that this is the guy, you know. And I get a call in the morning saying, hey, we think you might just have landed a role on this show. So I didn't audition for it.
Crazy.
And then they said, okay, wait, hold on. Let's just see though. Can you act? Because you're being the character.
Yeah.
You know, and there's this TJ thing that I put on when I'm out and about. I'm charismatic. I'm the life of the party. But it's not, I'm not one dimensional. That's not who I truly am.
So they saw the character just by hanging out with you in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from there, it just literally was a phone call. I showed up for the audition. I was early, I was on time, I knew my lines. Everything was just aligned. It was just so beautiful to be able to be afforded the opportunity after that bus has left me. The bus had left me and someone said, hey, get in my Ferrari. I'll take you there. Forget the bus. I'll get you there in my Ferrari. Apparently somebody else had already landed the role that I took from them.
So somebody had to be called and said, unfortunately, it won't work anymore.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the industry. That's the nature of the beast. I've had that happen to me as well. I hope whoever it was that this is, you know, you don't stop. Keep going, man. Keep going. It wasn't intentional. It just aligned for me at that time. So
it was your time.
It is definitely still. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you relate at all to the role?
Big time.
Yeah.
It's a path. There's many paths I could have taken in my life.
Yeah.
I was married at some point in my life. I was studying to be a pastor at some point in my life. I was a hardcore cutthroat salesman at some point in my life. I was a personal trainer.
You were a banker.
I was a banker. These are all different life paths that, you know, if you look at the and Doctor Strange, I'm a huge Marvel fan, but Dr. Stephen Strange is my favorite character.
Sure.
Right? Next to Tony Stark, but Dr. Stephen Strange, he talks about multiverses, parallel universes, and I was able to tap into every single different side of me. I believe that another side of me is still currently a banker and maybe even enjoying it at this point, and maybe even have kids in that path. And another me is like maybe a salesman, and another me has a church and preaching on top of its lungs and reaching out to the people. But this is the path that makes more sense to me. I had to pull myself and fight for this, and this is now me.
The character, though, comes across, especially in season 1 of Adulting, as very erratic. Would you say there's elements of where you are indecisive and erratic and you're chasing the big life rather than being put together and making decisions that make sense?
He's the youngest in the crew.
Okay.
The funny thing is the character is, Vuyani is the youngest out of all the guys. So I had to tap into a younger me, you know. It doesn't mean that's how I am now. I'm a grown man, you know. I'm going through everything I've gone through. I make decisions from that.
Okay.
But I had to remove all those layers of who Luthando is to tap into Vuyani. So yes, there's a Vuyani inside me. It exists. I think there's a Vuyani in everyone.
Yes.
You know, literally, that's what I believe, especially gents. Who wouldn't like to have an older woman taking care of all their bills, giving them the clothes, giving them the cars? Every man,
bro,
I believe would.
We are all tired of working.
You know what I mean? We would love that.
We're so Vuyani's like, we're like, damn.
Yeah, you know, all you have to do is make sure she's good and can live. You know, that's beautiful. That's nice. However, that everything you choose has repercussions and consequences to every single thing. I learned that consequences. I watch movies a lot, and I'm a student. I watched John Wick, and after killing all these people, he sits down with these people and he says, consequences, because now they have to kill him, and he's like, he understands. There's a common understanding in every single world that to every action there's a reaction. You know, so I feel like his choices and people who choose that path of the slaying life, there's repercussions.
There's consequences. So in season 2 though, Vuyani seems to be making better decisions, taking shape. Well, from what we've seen so far, he's trying his best to have some direction, have decent work. Once again, as you've, because you had to tap into a younger version of yourself, would you say the more mature version, you can also relate to what Vuyani is going through now?
I can understand it. I wouldn't say relate. I can understand it. See, the thing is, we all know what we need to do in order to be who we need to be. But only a few are able to do it and stick to it. Most people want to have fit, healthy bodies, have abs, have arms. And I'm speaking now because I used to be a personal trainer. And you know what you need to cut out. And it's very possible. You can do it. However, it's a habit. You have to defeat the habits. You know, Vuyani has to face that in his path. He knows what he wants to be. He wants to be financially secure, which is what it's very common. Most of us want to be. Actually, all of us want to be okay financially and have not to stress anymore about where the check comes from, you know, and you want a lot of money. However, the addiction of the path and the life that you know of, easy access to easy money, that's something that you have to fight. Addiction is everywhere. You know, you could be addicted to social media, can be addicted to this podcast. Hopefully, if you are addicted to this podcast, press like, subscribe.
That's
share
the one.
this, you know what I'm saying? If you are addicted to this podcast and other things also, we don't notice what we're addicted to. A friend of mine a while back said to me, we're addicted to food. We're addicted to water.
Sure.
You know, and I was like, damn, I never thought of it like that. Everything can be, I believe, if you can moderate and control your consumption of every and anything, you have control over your life.
That makes so much sense. Something a bit more personal, you just brushed into it, but I was like, geez, not many people know about this. But also the importance of me bringing it back is that there is a lot of stigma, especially in people's personal lives, when especially you now as a celebrity, because you call yourself one, so I'm allowed to use the word. There's a microscope that celebrities get when their personal lives are perceived to be falling apart. But once again, because you're a person who believes that failure is success, why was it important for you to leave a marriage that's no longer working?
Oh, nice. Tapping into the marriage. I didn't want to leave it. I was actually shattered by having to make that call.
Okay.
I was devastated because I felt like that's the most Christian I was at that path of my life. So I felt like, damn, I lied to God. You know, I said forever and I didn't.
Yeah.
But when I thought of it, I was like, no, man, my intentions were good. I didn't need to marry this person. There was no kids. There was nothing forcing me to do it. We could have been dating for 20 years even, you know. But within the first 2 years, I was like, let me pop the question because I love you and I don't want to be...
fornicating.
You know what I mean? Without, and it's a sin. It's a great sin. Who doesn't sin? Everyone sins, you know? So it was my path at that time. And there's a lot of gems and discipline in myself and understanding myself that I learned during that point. So your question is, what was your specifically?
Why is it important to leave something when you feel it no longer serves you, right?
So I'm gonna,
especially a marriage, something so significant.
Yeah, I'm gonna tap back into the first people that we fall in love with. The first woman that you fell in love with was your mother, right? That goes for all of us, you know. So the first model of love is our mother and father. Before TV, before all these other things, it's our parents, you know. So I'm gonna talk about that instead of just mine, because most of my choices are rooted from that. If that makes sense. At some point, my mother had the discussion with me where I felt when I was young. I could understand what was going on, but I felt like, hey, they shouldn't be together anymore. They're not good for each other. And I'd say this to my mother, and she would say, you know what? I'm sticking in it for you guys. She's doing it for the kids. I'm doing it for you guys. And I thought, no, much rather not do it for us, because you think you're doing it for us, but this is doing more harm to us
because we exist in this dysfunction. We see it every day.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what led me to leave what I completely believed in, unfortunately. Yeah.
That's insane, because you are at the time, as you're saying, you're thinking you're on the journey of you're going to build a church soon. You've studied to be a pastor. You've taken the right route of dignifying this woman by making her a wife. But then also you come to terms with yourself, or she comes to terms with herself, and the decision is made that actually being together is not good for our lives, you know. And for me, that's a sign of strength. And it's important for us to see divorce as strength. It's unfortunate that the numbers are so high. I don't know what crazy high
but that goes to show me that love cannot be confined to just that.
Is marriage confining love?
Yes. Any title of love besides itself, love, is confining it. You're limiting it. So it's something that people usually do. What are we? Why do we need to define it? If it exists, you don't need to define it. You can just be true to it as it is. You know, it's a give and take. You can also thrive in the limitations of the label, but I feel like labeling any human is dehumanizing.
But isn't marriage the stepping stone to building economies and countries, because you form families there?
Love is. I can form a healthy family with complete love. Because what's a cousin to love? Respect. If I respect you and I love you, listen, we can come to an understanding.
We'll be loyal to each other. We'll come to an understanding.
All of that is byproducts of true, genuine, authentic love versus the idea of what Disney has showed me or what I think it's supposed to be like. Let's get married now. Let's put the ring and you can't look at anyone because if you do that, all of that stuff, man, it's too much, you know. I feel like communication, love, it's all under God. It's all under God. I have this tattoo right here.
God all.
God over all. There's a line right here.
Okay.
God first, then all else afterwards. God is love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I believe, and we need to tap into that more than often.
I'm struggling to relate that marriage is not responsible for many of the great things that have happened in this world, because one, marriage as a system, even financially, helps people be able to get debt together so they build a home for their family, so that they can build businesses. And when you're removing this system of marriage, we're losing surnames for the kids. We're losing families joining together, because what marriage does is, especially in our cultures, is that it brings families together. So you're creating a bigger family by having two people who love each other coming together. Are we not losing those important elements then by saying we can build families outside of marriage?
So what's important here? The glass or the water?
The water.
Water is the love.
Okay.
How you confine it is up to you.
Okay. That's just a container.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you want to call this marriage, that's fine.
Okay.
As long as there's love in there. How much love do you need? How much love do I need? It's that simple. If it's done out of... Some people get married for the sake of marriage. Some people are more in love with marriage than they are with love.
With the title and...
They want to be seen. They want the big rock. They want the big house. But it's not there. They don't even love themselves. They don't even know themselves. I'm not saying this to judge anyone, but I'm just saying if we all do the work to love self, it can overflow to all different specters and parts of our life.
Yeah.
I feel like it can formulate to any label and it's fine. Because love is communication as well, you know? So if we're in a relationship and you say, yo, love for marriage for me is something and it makes sense to me as well, and it becomes the container that we decide to put our water into, which is our love, and we overflow from that because we agreed into that. But some people just want the container and it's empty.
Would you use that container again in your life moving forward of marriage to contain your love?
I don't know. The answer in the past 4 months, 4 months ago would have been yes, immediately yes. But I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know the trajectory that I'm moving in. I don't know. I don't. That's an honest answer. Yeah.
What do you say to God mostly when you pray? I'm sure there's that consistent theme of things that you pray about.
I say I love you and I want it to be known. That to me says I know you. That means I'm willing for you to show yourself to me in many different ways. I know what I want. I know what I came here for. I've never not known. So whether that happens or not, I'm gonna keep trying. And if you're with me, it would be great. If you're not, it's okay. But I'm gonna die doing this.
Yeah.
That's what I came to do. I'm gonna die doing this. Whether it works or not, that's another thing. But I'm grateful for each breath, man. I move and vibrate from gratitude more than anything else.
Do you have children?
No.
In the spirit of possibly spreading that love in the future and children being a container of love, if you were to ever have children, and because the internet, things live on forever, let's say you ever have a son, what would you want to say to your son who's 15 years old watching this many years later?
I'd want to say silence is very important. Spend your time in the silence. Most things lay in the silence. There's a lot of noise, and there's probably more noise now in your reality than was mine. But find the silence. Find yourself. All the answers are there. And once you know yourself, go after what's yours. Claim it. A king doesn't ask. A king doesn't try. A king does. So do. That's what I'd say.
What's the one thing in life you know for sure? Absolutely know, and you're like, this thing I'm certain of.
Damn. What's the one thing I know for sure? That nothing is forever.
Okay.
That's the one thing I know for a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things keep on changing in life.
Even if I do make it, I won't be at the top forever. So I'm enjoying the journey. The journey is the goal. The goal, the path, the end, the destination is the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luthando BU Mthembu, thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
It's been an incredible conversation.
Yeah.
Definitely, you've taken us through the journey of how you've engineered your life, and we truly, truly appreciate your time.
Appreciate you too. Also, we didn't get to talk about my music. So, Adulting 2. Adulting 2, my music. I have a song I just dropped. It's called Adulting 2.
Yeah.
It's obviously about the show.
Okay.
And it's a my piano song. So
was it intentional with the
very
naming?
Intentional.
Yeah,
very
obviously.
If you Google Adulting 2.
We've just spent an hour speaking about your intentionality.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's featured?
No one.
No one.
I think it's very important.
Yeah.
That if I'm gonna experiment on something, it's all on me. So if the song is a hit, it's because it was me.
Yeah.
If it's a miss, it's because it was me. At this point, I'm experimenting. I've never done my piano before.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought with the energy and the vibe of the show was like that.
Yeah.
The adulting show that I'm on. So
Yeah.
as a person who's on the show, I think I'm the right person, the right fit to project
no,
it.
It absolutely makes it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Especially with that character.
Yeah.
Who's very fun.
Yeah.
So you've enjoyed the episode, which means you're going to enjoy the music too after this, right?
Yeah.
When you finish watching this episode, we're streaming Adulting 2.
Yeah.
And probably if you go on SoundCloud, you'll find all his old music. Maybe it's scary, maybe it's beautiful. You'll let us know in the comment section. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you.
Introducing the epitome of luxury living. Kalu Luxury Villas and Suites, your private sanctuary of opulence and elegance. Nestled amongst the lush, sun-kissed landscapes of Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, this Kalu Luxury Villa is a paradise of tranquility, offering breathtaking panoramic views of the neighborhood. Step into a world of refined luxury where every detail has been meticulously crafted to create an atmosphere of sophistication and comfort. This villa is kept within a gated and secure property for your peace of mind. The Kalu Villa is available for both short-term and long-term stays, making it the ideal location for your next vacation or special event. This villa boasts spacious living areas and floor-to-ceiling windows that flood the interior with natural light, making you feel at one with the surrounding beauty, paired with multiple terraces, an outdoor lounge, and a dining area. Live the dream, make memories, and indulge in the life you deserve. Contact us today to book your stay or to learn more about this exquisite property. Your oasis of opulence awaits.